Hello everyone and welcome to today's online class for class 12. There are two opposing factors that work in any states of matter, whether it is gaseous, whether it is liquid, whether it is solid state. The first factor that works in it is the kinetic energy. Now, kinetic energy is associated with the motion of the particles. There are three motions exist in any kind of particles in the universe. The first one is the translational motion. Now, the translational motion meaning when the particle is moving from point A to point B in a linear fashion. The second motion is the rotational motion. When the particle is moving on its own axis, is rotating on its own axis, is known as the rotational motion of the particle. The third one is the vibrational motion. When with respect to a certain point, the particle is vibrating, that motion is known as the vibrational motion. When a particle is translating with respect, along with its rotation, the particle is moving like rotating on its axis and also translating from point 1A to point B. When it is vibrating along with rotating and along with translating, it is vibrating and rotating at the same point and also translating from point A to point B. This is a three motion that exists in any particle in the universe. Now, among all three particles, the energy required to translate is the least amount and the energy required to vibrate is the most amount. In between these two energy required to translate and energy required to vibrate, the energy required to rotate is residing. It is not as low like translate energy required to translate, and not as much high as for a particle to vibrate, but at a moderate amount. So whenever you are changing, you are providing energy or you are removing energy in the form of suppose that heat energy or any normal form of energy that we usually use surrounding us, the rotational energy and vibrational energy do not get affected that much because the energy required for them is comparatively much higher, like in the range of IR or microwave region. So that is altogether a different concept is required there. But when you providing or removing energy in the form of our normal surround energy, in the form of energy in our daily life usage like heat energy, translational energy is getting affected in a considerable amount. The second factor that resides in the any states of matter are the intermolecular force of attraction. Now, intermolecular force of attraction, when it gets increased, the space between the particle reduced. The particles are get more closer with each other. On the other hand, with the increase in kinetic energy, motion was increasing and the molecule was getting far apart from each other. So these two factors are opposing to each other. The comparison between these two gives rise to solid state or liquid state or gaseous state. Now, supposedly you want to change the state of a certain matter constituting a certain amount of particle in it to a solid state. What you need to do, we all know that we need to remove energy. Now, by removing energy, we are going to change the translational motion of the particle but not vibration and the rotational. By changing the translational motion, by removing the energy of the particle, by decreasing the translational motion of the particle, the intermolecular force of attraction will get increased because the particle will not be able to move far apart from each other. The translational motion has decreased. So in that case, when the particles are coming closer to each other, the intermolecular force of attraction has increased. Now, if you keep on removing the energy, the kinetic energy will be keep on decreasing the translational motion of the particle till a point will come when the particles will come so closer with each other that it cannot it cannot overcome the intermolecular attraction, the influence of its surroundings anymore, and they will be very much closer with each other to form a cluster of molecules or cluster of particles. This portion is known as the solid state of the matter. Now, here is the point that we never actually discussed before. Till now we have discussed. When I am talking about that the solid state has been formed now, there are three motions still existing within the particle, that is vibration, vibrational motion, rotational motion and translational motion also. Maybe the translational motion even now is extremely small, but it is existing. That means the particle being in the vicinity of each other very closely still are moving within the matter. So this form of the particle, this form of the solid state is known as the amorphous solid state, where the particle has formed a solid state but it do not possess a specific shape of the particle, because particles are still moving with respect to each other's position, because how minimum the translational motion may be, there still exists translational motion. Now supposedly you remove the kinetic energy furthermore. If you remove the kinetic energy furthermore till a point when the translational motion of the particle almost cease to exist, in that point of time only the rotational and vibrational motion is existing, and the particle being in their own position, wherever they are occupying that position, and they are unable to leave that point, making the particle arranged themselves in an orderly manner. Now they possess some kind of a shape and size. This form of the solid state is known as the crystalline solid state. So whenever we are talking about solid state, we have talked about solid state, we always talk about that there should be a definite shape and size. That is true. But the main point of solid state is that the intermolecular force of attraction is so high for the particles that they cannot leave each other's vicinity anymore, each other's influence anymore. As a result, the translational motion of the particle has been reduced significantly, making the particle move in a certain direction with respect to each other without leaving the vicinity of the surrounding particles. But when you are further decrease the kinetic energy and restrict the translational motion almost completely, there comes another state for a solid state where the translational motion is completely ceased for the particles, and the particles occupied the position they had been. Without leaving the position, they are only rotating and vibrating with respect to and they arrange themselves in a certain manner with respect to each other without leaving their position. This state of a solid matter is known as the crystalline solid. There are few physical properties of solid state, solid matter, that depends on the observer. Supposedly I am observing some physical property of a certain solid matter through a certain direction, and I am getting some results. If I change my observable direction, supposedly in opposite direction or in any side onto any other direction, and I start observing the same physical property, I may get different result. This kind of material which shows some physical properties, the magnitude of some physical properties show different results when the direction of the observation is changed. That kind of substance, that kind of solid substance is known as anisotropy. But there are other kind of materials, solid materials. When you are observing those same physical properties in a certain direction, you're getting the result, and then you change the direction and start the observation. The result will be same from whatever direction you will observe those properties. This shows that those kind of materials which give this kind of result, when the physical properties that you are observing will not change their result from which direction, along with the direction you are observing, those kind of materials are known as isotropic materials. Now, why this kind of situation occurs? In solid state, two kinds of substrate we have discussed. The first one was the amorphous solid state, in which we are getting a cluster of solid molecules, but the molecules are in a motion with respect to each other. When they are in a motion with respect to each other, they can be found in equivalent amount in all directions. So when you are observing a certain kind of physical properties from any direction, you will be able to get the similar kind of physical properties, similar kind of physical results in the all direction. But if you take a crystalline solid in which the particles are restricted to their position point, to their own position, then the particle, if you get from a direction at a particular position from another direction, maybe you will not get, maybe you will get a void space between particles. So depending on the direction from which you are observing, the physical property, the result of the physical property will change, because the position of the particle are restricted to their own positions. That's why crystalline solids give anisotropic, crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature, whereas amorphous solids are isotropic in nature. Very good example of that is glass. By the way, gas and liquid states are also isotropic in nature, because by their own nature the particles are in motion. So they can be the probability of finding the particle in all directions are equivalent. So the physical properties are independent of the directions. But the question that the thing that I was talking about is the glass. Glass is nothing but silicon dioxide, the solid form of silicon dioxide. On the other hand, quartz is also the solid form of silicon dioxide. When you are changing the state of silicon dioxide to solid state, if you are changing the state in a solid state in a certain way where you are only restricting the translation of motion in a certain amount, but you are letting it having a free motion with respect to each other vicinity. What I am trying to say, you are forming an amorphous solid of silicon dioxide, you are getting glass. But when you are furthermore by compressing, by removing the energy within the glass, if you compress it much more, the silicon dioxide particles will restrict their own position, forming the quartz particle. So quartz is the crystalline form of the silicon dioxide, and glass is the amorphous form of the silicon dioxide.